Every morning, the world wakes up and makes endless cups of coffee. It's hard to imagine the world we live in without this drink. But what really is coffee? And where does it come from? Ethiopia, a country whose name has become synonymous with poverty and suffering. Centuries after its discovery here, coffee is still the lifeblood of this mountainous land. We are traveling through southern Ethiopia with a man rediscovering his roots. This is Bezabe Tolosa. Born a coffee farmer's son, he has dedicated his life to helping those on whom life has been hardest. This trip will not only allow us a glimpse of where he grew up, but will perhaps also reveal what motivates such a brilliant man. Bezabe grew up among these hills, living just as local farmers' children do today. Now, well-educated and traveled, he has never allowed himself to forget what life in a coffee farming family is like.
Nearly we are about 350 kilometers away from Addis on the main road to Kenya, and it's one of the greenest areas in the southern part of Ethiopia. This is one of the coffee growing areas. The typical name of coffee in this area is called the Sidama coffee, and people live on this coffee, and they are coffee producers. And side by side, coffee growing, people also do on growing different fruits and vegetables, and agriculture is the main source of economy for this area. This is sugar cane, and it's from it that we prepare sugar in the factory. This is a banana tree, and these banana fruits. the local people, it's another source of income for families. Coffee grows best under shades, and this is coffee tree. And even the color of the leaf, the shining nature of the coffee leaves shows the quality of the coffee beans. And so this one is very nice. The leaves are shiny. The specific location of this area is called Yirgala. Sidama is one of the known coffee growers. As you see, we are in the garden of coffee, and these are green coffee beans, and these are ripened red cherries of coffee. And as you see, actually this time is not time for coffee to ripe, and it's in September and October that coffee in this area gets ripe. This house is a typical house in this area, and it's called the Sidama house. And people who live in Sidama area build their houses this way. And as you see, it's made of bamboo tree. This is typical Sidamo area, and the more down we travel to the southern part of Ethiopia, the more it gets, green, and everything looks natural, and this is very nice.
This is a region that is no stranger to harsh times. Bezabe's own family history has been greatly affected by the turmoil of the country's past.
Gashela Maria, jetu no washa, heno?
Washa, it in the Shuna, a chin, and the Taiwanji. ለእንግዲህ ጦርነቱ ሲመጣ እሳቸው አንድ ነገር ለማስተካከል ወደ አንድ አቅጣጫ ሄዱ። ሌልትታ ከረዳቶቻቸው ጋር እዚህ ቀሩ። ጦርነቱ ሲመጣ እስቲ ዋሻ መቆፈሪያ ቦታ ፈልጉልኝ ብሎ ትእዛዝ ሰጧቸው። እነዛ መጡና ዋሻውን ፈለጉላቸው፣ ቦታውን ፈለጉላቸው። አገኝተናል ብሎ ሪፖርት አደረጉላቸው። ቶሎ በሉና ቆፍሩልኝ ማሱልኝ ብለው አሏቸው፣ ትእዛዝ ሰጡ። መጡና ቆፈሩላቸው። ከጨረሱ በኋላም እንግዲህ ሪፖርት አደረጉ። መጡ፣ እሳቸው ተደበቁ።
As you see, this is the second gate of the cave, and this is where the hyenas live now. That's 60 years back, the place where the princess of the region protects herself and her children from the Italian invaders. And the princess was the daughter of Emperor Haile Selassie, and her name was Princess Tananyework. This is where she kept her children from the war of Italian aggressors.
If you go to a coffee shop in Seattle or in Berlin or Tokyo, you can get a cup of Ethiopian Yergechefe, one of the world's most valued specialty coffees, sold all over the world, but only grown here.
Akam, nagertani. James, amarinya miya, orominya miya orana.
On this land, some of the world's finest coffees are grown. Gelgelo, chairman of the Kilenso Mokonisa Coffee Growers Cooperative, has allowed us to visit his farm. For myself as a coffee roaster, This is an invaluable opportunity. For Bezabe, it's like a step back in time.
James, it reminded me, my childhood, time, and
So you grew up here?
I really missed all this, ሶይሉን ስትመለከተው ይሄኛው በጣም ፈርታይል ነው። ደግሞ ኦርጋኒክ ነገሩ ኢንሴክቶች አሉት ውስጡ ኦክሲጅን አለው። በቃ ክፍት ነው እና ይሄ this it makes So the quantity of the harvest depends on the size of flower on the tree. Galgalo, maal naan jette barana hagam argachuu keessaa dandeesse? Akka yaada keetitti.
Akka jirutti gara 78 argadha.
Dura hagam argatta?
Gara 35.
So this man, the owner of this coffee farm says that he will get at least double of his previous production because of his field management, the supervision that he did for his farm. The management, as you see, these people, the farmers are laboring day and night. It's a labor-intensive job. So they are producing quality organic Ethiopian coffee, and they are passing it over to you, to people who are buying and roasting. So the next serious management remains on the hand of people like you and other coffee roasting and grinding and supplying organizations. Harvesting coffee is a very serious and it's labor-intensive job, and the farmer spend almost the whole year in looking after its coffee tree, and starting from growing a seedling, a coffee seedling, it needs intensive care and very close supervision. Farmers do, but they spend lots of their time in preparing quality coffee seedling, in transplanting it, to a new coffee garden or plot, and then it needs, as I said earlier, pruning is one job, and trying to tilling around, the coffee and applying, natural fertilizers. If you apply your professional skills on roasting and grinding and packing and all and even storing. So if you pass all those standards, international standards, the final coffee the consumers will get on their table will be very nice, and that's what I personally say.
በጣም ስለተገስተ Not far from where Gelgelo Farms is the school that Bezabe first attended.
I remember these. Jioti, ato, Milkias, aten, Ashanafi, ato, Andur, Bakakanati ta'a. Amman lafa Addis Ababa jedhamu keessa jira Bezabe Tollesaa jedhama. Warri kiyya sookee jiranii gizee sanii achi dhufeetu asitti barachaa ture. Rasichallo kwankwan mal. Rasichallo. I used to be, one of these children. I remember the first or the second seats. One of the seats where I used to sit when I was grade 1 and grade 2 students during my childhood, and it's flashed back all my old memories, and I really remind as to how I came to this school, and now it gets very, very old and deteriorated.
I have known Bezabe for years. but I've seldom seen him so overcome with feeling.
ይሄ አዲስ የታደሰ ነው። ይሄ እውነትህን ነው? በጣም የገረመኝ ምን እንደሆነ ታውቃለህ? እኛ በነበርንበት ጊዜ የነበረው ዴስክ በጣም የሚገርም ነው። እግሩ ሁሉ ብረት ነው። በጣም የሚመች የእርሳስ ማስቀመጫ ዋናው በጣም የሚያስፈልግ ነገር። አሁን ሁሉንም አንድ ጊዜ ማድረግ አንችልም። ለምሳሌ አሁን ልጅህ ብዙ ነገር ሊያስፈልገው ይችላል። ልብስ፣ ጫማ፣ ትምህርት ምን ቢያስፈልገው ከዚህ ውስጥ የቱ ነው መቅደም ያለበት ብለህ ታስባለህ። የሚቀድመውን ነገር ታደርጋለህ። ደግሞ እንዳላችሁ ደግሞ ትልቁ ችግር እንደማየው አሁን ውሃ ነው። እንደዛ አይነት ነገር ውሃ ምን ያህል ጥልቀት ያስኬዳል እዚህ አካባቢ ሲቆፈር?
ደግሞ እድሳት ይፈልጋል። አሮጌ ትምህርት ቤት ነው ይሄ ነገሮች ሁሉ።
አይ እኔ ያስኳቸውን ነገሮችን በአእምሮ ይዣቸዋለሁ። የምችለውን ነገር ሞባይል አለ። ስንት ነው? እሺ Yeah, with the help of God, I will try and I will, commit myself so that things will be improved in the future. Amen. Tabarak. Tabarakacha.
Years later, this is where Bazabe has found himself. He has done astounding work on behalf of his local community. In the last 5 years, he has served as the founder, director, architect, and engineer of a groundbreaking project here in the Ethiopian town of Debre ዘይት. I myself used to live nearby and passed by what is today Bazabe's compound on my way to and from town. Back then, there was nothing here but wasteland.
Just to turn the compound green and to have some sort of income generation schemes, we've planted various types of trees. And this is guava tree. This guava fruit on it. And this is an avocado tree. And I will show you, come and see, what we have done in it. And this, the newly being worked block is for school library. Workmen are on painting. This is actually plastering, it's a gypsum plastering work. All these glass frames, window glass frames are made here. We did all this job here, and the only thing is we need to fix it to the back side of the building. As you see, the materials that you see here are broken ceramic tiles. I don't know if you have the same problem back home. Here, the price of construction materials is increasing and incredibly. Some of them 300, 400%. And initially, we want to pave, these classrooms with ceramic tiles, but we couldn't afford it now. And accordingly, we bought these broken ceramics from various places, and now we are trying to do the flooring with the chips so as to minimize the cost of the building. And this is the room that we have worked with these broken tiles. And even the gypsum ceiling are made here. We've bought just the powder and the fiber and made it here. And this has saved lots of money regard the building cost is concerned. This building began to build in last July, and it's for the purpose of extending this school. This school was built in September 2006 with the help that we've got from Northern Ireland Whitewell Metropolitan Tabernacle Church. This church is a sister church to ours, and with their donation we've built this block. Having known these problems, community problems, the church built this school and provided free education to the children. They don't pay, children do not pay when I say free education. On top of creating access to free education, the church, this school has provided the children with free educational materials provision. They get notebooks, books, pen, pencils, rubbers for free, and the school provides them school uniform on yearly basis. These all children are selected from very poor family background. The majority of them are orphan, complete orphan. That means they lost their both parents. Some of them are half orphans. Others are, of course, children from needy families. They do have both parents, but the parents do not have dependable income, monthly or weekly income, and therefore they can't afford for their children.
Gelgelo has taken us to meet with his fellow farmers at their office in Kilensum Hokonisa. Bezabe remains troubled about the fate of his birthplace. He's saddened by the challenges facing the people here.
እኔም እግዚአብሔር ቢረዳኝ አሁን ወይ ቅሌንሶ እንኳን አገረ ማርያም ላይ ነው አሁን በጣም ትልቅ ችግር የማየው ከነሱ ጋር እነሱ አሁን እኔንም ይረዳሉ ደብረ ዘይት ላይ እኔ ትልቅ ትምርት ቤት አለኝ እኔ አሁን አንደኛ እና ሁለተኛ ክፍል ላይ ተማርኩት ቅሌንሶ ነው እዚህ ትምርት ቤት አባንክ የተለሳ ጃተን የዳማሲስ ኦኬ
A rapidly growing population cannot find enough land to farm in an area where agriculture has always been the main source of income. The alternative to farming, Bezabe says, is education.
ስምንተኛ ክፍሎች መልካም የፈተና ጊዜ ይሁንላችሁ እግዚአብሔር በነገር ሁሉ ከናንተ ጋር ይሁን ተባረኩ
Bezabe takes education very seriously indeed. When he was just a young boy, his mother insisted on sending him to school. That decision changed the path of his life forever. Now Bezabe is doing the same, not only for his own children, but for hundreds.
ስሜ ፍርቱና ታደሰ ይባላል። ይሄን ትምህርት ቤት የመረጥኩበት ምክንያት በደብረ ዘይት ውስጥ እንዲሁም ወደ ደብረ ዘይት ስመጣ እንዳልኩ ማለት ነው በደብረ ዘይት ውስጥ እንደዚህ አይነት ትምህርት ቤት የለም ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ ነው ይሄ ትምህርት ቤት በደብረ ዘይት ውስጥ ያለው ይሄ ማለት ያው በኑሯቸው ዝቅተኛ የሆኑ ተማሪዎችን የሚረዳ ትምህርት ቤት ነው ስለዚህ እንደ አንድ ዜጋ በዚህ ትምህርት ቤት ውስጥ የሆነ ነገር ማበርከት እንዳለብኝ አስባለሁ በሙያዬ ማለት ነው ስለዚህ ያንን ነገር ለኔ መምረጤ የበለጠ ሙያዬን ከገንዘብ ባለፈ ማለት ነው ከገንዘብ ባለፈ
የስሎቫክ ሀገር አምባሳደርም ይመጣሉ
ይሄ ደግሞ በፓስተር በዛብህ ድካም ልፋት በሱ ውጣውረድ እዚህ ደረጃ እንደደረሰ ነው
ደብረ ዘይት እዚሁ አካባቢ ነው ተወልጄ ያደግኩት በጣም ያስፈልግ ነበር ያው ትንሽ የኛም ቤተሰብ እዚህ አካባቢ ያስተማሩን ትንሽ የተማሩ ስለነበሩ ነው እንጂ እንደሌላ ቢሆን ኖሮ ያው ይሄንን እድል አናገኝም ነበር አብዛኛው ጓደኞቻችን አሁን ይሄንን እድል ያላገኙ አሉ ይሄ ለመማር ለምን ያላገኙ ልጆች አሉ ለምን በዛ ሰዓት ይሄ ነገር ስለሌለ ማለት ነው እንደዚህ አይነት
These are some of over 500 children from the area's most impoverished families. At this unique school, Bazabe offers them the same chance that his family gave him. What this school means to the people of this district is nothing short of a miracle. Lives rescued from a cycle of poverty that has lasted generations. Bazabe is saving lives in a much more literal way as well.
In front of us is a block of the clinic. This block serves for two purposes, as a clinic and as office block. And upstairs, on the left-hand side, we do have a mini assembly hall.
This clinic, opened within the school compound, serves the students and local community.
She's our head nurse and she's responsible in looking after all the clinic duties and responsibilities.
ሲስተር ነጻነት ረጋ እኔ እዚህ ክሊኒክ ኃላፊ ነርስ ነኝ ይህ ክሊኒክ መሰረቱ የተመሰረተው የመጀመሪያው እቅዳችን ለተማሪዎች ነው ለልጆች ነው የተመሰረተው ግን ልጆችን ከማከም አንፃር የልጆች ጤንነት ሊጠበቅ የሚችለው የቤተሰብም ጤንነት ሲጠበቅ ነው
አማኑኤል ለምንድን ነው ዛሬ መጣ ወደዚህ ምን ሆንክ
ጉንፋን ይዘ
ጉንፋን ስንት ቀን ነው
ቆየት አከጀመረ
ተማሪዎች በተለያየ ችግር ይመጣሉ ግን ብዙ ጊዜ ጎልቶ የሚታየው ችግራቸው የአፐር ሪስፓይራቶሪ ኢንፌክሽን ማለት የአየር ቧንቧ ችግር በጉንፋን ብዙ ጊዜ ህፃናት ጉንፋን ተላላፊ በሽታ ነው በብዛት ክፍል ውስጥ አብረው በሚቀመጡበት ሰዓት 10 ሚሊዮን 20 ልጆች አንድ ልጅ ከታመመ ሁሉም የመተላለፍ ኃይል ስላለው በጣም ተላላፊ ስለሆነ በጉንፋን
ባለፈው ስንት መርፌ ያገኘ
ባለ ቆይቷል 8
መርፌ ለምንድን ነው ነበር መርፌዎች
አሜን
ለልጆች በተደጋጋሚ የሆነ ችግር ደግሞ ከአየር ቧንቧ ችግር የፓራሳይት ችግር ማለት ጥገኛ ህዋሳት ንጹህ ውሃ ካለ ማግኘት የግል ንጽህናና የአካባቢ ንጽህናን ካለ መጠበቅ እንደሚታወቀው ልጆቹ ከአነስተኛ ቤተሰብ ማለት በኑሮ ደረጃቸው ዝቅተኛ ከሆነ ቤተሰብ ነው የሚመጡ
አሁን ምንድነው ይሰጣሉ ላንተለጉ መድኃኒት ይሰጣሉ ሲሮፕ ኦኬ ከይሄ ክሊኒክ ተከፍተው በፊት የት ነው ትሄዳለህ ጉንፋን ብትይዘው
ሌላ ክምቢት
ያስከፍላል አዎ
በብር ነው።
በብር ነው። እዚህ ብር ያስከፍላል?
አይከፍልም።
አይከፈልም።
በነፃ ነው።
With lives in this part of Africa taken by such frustratingly simple illnesses such as diarrhea and stomach infections, this clinic is not only necessary, it's vital. But Bazabe's work doesn't end there. The very households that the children here come from are his next step. After all, what good is giving a child 9 years of basic education if, at the end of it, their families cannot afford to pay for their further education? Bazabe's answer lies in financial empowerment. 10 years ago, Bazabe would ride out on a motorcycle in his spare time, coaching local families on the importance of savings and investment. By saving pennies at a time, the families of these children have collected an impressive 55,000 Ethiopian birr. That's about 2,200 euros. Reinvested into schemes like bread baking, cattle trading, daycare centers, laundry services, these savings may be their ticket to financial stability and a future for their children. This group has, in 5 years, not only managed to make money, they've even created employment opportunities for others. It's an impressive achievement for men and women who are often formally unemployed themselves. And perhaps collective business is the way forward for millions here. At this coffee sorting facility opened by the Oromia Coffee Farmers Cooperative Union, some of the world's finest coffees are cleaned and sorted for export. They come from a network of well over 100,000 farms. Coffee is by far the country's largest export commodity. Like the women working here, most of the adults seen in this film rely on coffee production to provide them with an income. And this is where our coffee comes from. The care and hard work that has gone into it is what will make it worth drinking when it eventually reaches Europe.
Zoznámil som sa s etiópskou kávou pred pár mesiacmi, ktorú na náš trh vozia veľmi príjemní ľudia. Zaujalo ma to, objednal som si, vyskúšal som a v podstate musím povedať, že je to jedna z veľmi dobrých káv. Úžasná káva, ktorá profilom praženia sa tam dosiahla veľmi príjemná harmonická chuť. Pri odrode Jergašiv by som povedal absolútne lahodná, krásne by som povedal až kvetovaná chuť a vôňa, ktorá je veľmi príjemná. Pri Harar je pre mňa taká trošku trsnejšia odroda, ale veľmi príjemná, ktorá má ozaj krásne kávové telo, že cítite silu tej kávy a má aj také príjemné tie tóny, také, by som povedal ten Harar, taký jemne orieškový, proste až taký medový niekedy, tak mi prípada, ale pritom je tam zachovaná nádherná horkosť kávy. Takže tu máme nejaké vzorky etiópskej kávy. Jergašiv, espresso tankara, je to odroda Harar. Teraz je krásne vidno, akú konzistenciu by mala mať tá námletá káva. V podstate jemným poklepaním po boku páky si vlastne vyrovnáme v základe tú vrchnú vrstvu a skúsime pričuchnúť k tomu, že ako má peknú mletá káva, ako má peknú vôňu arómu, proste príjemnú, zase kvetovanú. Máme krásne utlačenú kávu, ktorá nám nevypadne z tej páky. A teraz čo najrýchlejšie spustiť extrakciu. A pozeráme sa na to, čo nám tečie do šalky. Vidíte krásny, tmavohnedý, jemný prúžok kávy. Jergašiv.
This is the end of our journey. Coffee has been grown, sorted, shipped and roasted for this moment. But this is not the end of Bazabe's story. He is truly a man in a million. A man whose wholehearted devotion to his cause allows him no rest.
ሶስት ዩኒቨርሲቲ ተማሪዎች መጥተው ይጠይቁኝ ነበር እና የኛም ቡና ኢትዮጵያ ደሃ ነች ትሉናላችሁ። አሁን አፋቸውን ከፍተው ነው የሚመጡ። እነሱ የሚጠብቁት ኢትዮጵያ ድርቅ፣ ህዝብ ሁሉ የሞተ ምንም አቅም የሌለው የማይሰራ ሰነፍ ሁሉ ነው የሚያደርጉ። ኑና ይሁን አልኳቸው። አሁን አንተ ለምሳሌ ያክል ለልጆች የትምህርት ቤት ለራስ የሚሆን የአመት ቀለብ ካለ ቡና አሁን ለምሳሌ አንድ ቡና ገዢ በርካሽ በሚገዛበት ጊዜ አትሸጥም። ቁጭ ታረጋለህ ቤት ውስጥ ገንዘብ ካለህ ማለት ነው ገንዘብ ከሌለህ ግን ምን ታረጋለህ ምንም አታረግም አውጥተህ በርካሽ ልክ እንደዛው ነው ሲገዙ የቡና ዋጋ የሚተምነው ማን ነው ገበሬው ነው ገበሬ አይደለም እንደ እኔ የገበሬ ልጅ ነኝ እዚህ ነው ተወልጄ ያደኩት ዲላ ነው የተማርኩት እኔ በደንብ አውቃለሁ ዋና ዋጋ ተማኝ ማን ነው ነጋዴው ነው እናንተ አይደላችሁ ለምሳሌ ያክል እኔ አሁን 1 ኪሎ ቡና ሉሎም ማለት ነው ይሄን እንትን ቀዩን ቡና ያንን ቀዩን ቡና 100 ብር ነው ኪሎ የምሸጠው ብትል ማን ይገዛሃል ዛሬ የሉሎ ዋጋ 1 ኪሎ ቀይ ቡና 10 ብር ነው 20 ብር ነው የሚልህ ማን ነው ነጋዴ ነው ልክ እንደዛ አቅም ቢኖረን ኖሮ አንሸጥም ይችላል አደርቀዋለሁ አድርቄ ፈለፍላለሁ ቀስ ብዬ ዛሬ 3 አመት ሸጣለሁ ማለት ይችል ነበር መቼ ገንዘብ ቢኖር በእጅ ቢያዝ
Not